Hello and welcome to 10 satisfactory tips that will help you get started and get you on your merry way in a good fashion playing Satisfactory, and 2 additional side useful tips. Okay, without further ado, let's get right into the meat of things. Tip number 1. Make good use of your UI. I'll just explain briefly if you take a look at it. So, your UI has some good and useful reminders and it's well thought through, but not all of the things are apparent. So, if you look on the bottom row, you have hotkeys, and I recommend you stuff that you do build, you can actually go and hotkey. So, you go into the builder, you just hover over the item you want to build, and let's just say you press number 6, and it's bound to the hotbar, so you can actually hotbar the items that you make most frequently. Then, on the bottom right corner, you have a visual reminder of the key presses that you have. Q for building, F for destruction, V for lights, C for scanning stuff, X for schematics, messages, and all that jazz, and finally Tab for your inventory. The stuff at my top right corner is where we get to the tip number 2. Tip number 2 is set milestones. They're actually very handy, so if you go into the hub terminal and whenever you're building on or trying to achieve a specific milestone, it will give you a clear visual reminder of how many particular items you need in terms of building stuff and how many you need to be able to upgrade the specific terminal to be able to access these resources. So that's tip number 2. In continuing in the similar fashion, tip number 3, when you're trying to, build various stuff, whether it's an equipment, you want, for example, to build a new Xeno Zapper to discuss, friendlies with the local wildlife, or a chainsaw for a more brutal variety, you can do right-click and add to-do list. And this will pop up a very handy display of the list of the required items you need in order to craft it. And this also not applies only to the items you can craft, but also to the items you can build. For example, let's say I want to craft a new smelter. I just press the plus and look. Hey, smelter has been added to the requirements list, so I know what I need to do. And you can press plus and minus to increase in terms of quantity. So this gives you a nice shopping list in terms of what you need to hunt to basically get things done. Alright, we come to, and it also helps you keep track of the progress because it fills up. So then we come to tip number 3. Build portable miners early. Now the portable miners are actually highly useful items that will help you get early stuff automation in there, and you will be able to do it in a rather splendid way. Let me just show you how it works. If we talk like, where Pritel is it? Yes, here. You can just place the item here, and it will happily and completely autonomously chug and dig iron out of this iron deposit. Look at it go. Isn't it just a dear? They're autonomous, they don't need power, and also when you need just to collect, you just come over, press E, and collect all the wonderful materials. Early on in the game, you would simply prefer to do that as opposed to this. This game is all about automation, so yeah, don't do this if you don't need to. Right, also, did I say that these miners are a basis for building this recipe? They're actually one of the required components. So, there you go. Then we come to tip number 5. And tip number 5 is rather simple, the whole point of the game. Automate early. Rather than doing everything manually, as I've just blatantly shown you, you want to build smelters as early as possible, because that you get practically during the tutorial, then the constructors. Why? Because you just dump the resources in, connect the power, and then they will be happily chugging these things for you. Then when you get the conveyor belts, then you connect them with conveyor belts, and presto, automation. So all you need to do if you wanted to get to some sweet resources, you just come over to the desired storage location and grab whatever you need. Hey, life is easy. Alright, tip number 6. Do consider length. You know, we've all heard length, length is important. Yeah, right. In this case, it's under a negative connotation, because things that you build, let's say that you want to build a conveyor belt from starting, I don't know, anywhere particular. I'm trying to find an empty slot where to connect the bloody bastard. So, look. The requirements for building a conveyor belt actually will grow depending on how much stuff, or not the length, how long the conveyor belt is. The longer the belt, the more resources it will require. So you do want them to be short and to the point. For example, this is about good length. And maybe here, because in the future you might want to stick a splitter or something. Alright, then we come to the tip number 7. Yes, that's the word. So, if I just, for example, show you a simple example. Let's just deconstruct this to illustrate my point. And we'll deconstruct this one. Right. So let's say that you want to build a storage. You go on your merry way, you go under organization, storage container, and of course you want to rotate it and align it. But if you look on there are tiny, azure guidelines, and if you hold control button, look, it snaps to grid, making it very simple and very easy to build all those wonderful things that you need to. So makes building a whole of a lot easier now, doesn't it? Look. 5 length as opposed to much more. Now, let's talk power nodes. When we talk about the tip number 8, is all about power nodes. This game has apparently managed to wiggle in a cable management. So, each power node can connect exactly 4. Which means if you have a power node that is requiring more than 4, you won't be able to connect to. And these 4 also include extensions. So look, if I just connect these 2, I won't be able to connect anything else here. So you have only 4 connections, so use them wisely. And also, when we are already talking power, if you go and highlight the biomass burners, you will see your capacity, and do mind your consumption. Because even if one of these biomass burners goes out of commission, basically it will throw a dent on the whole operation, because the power won't be sufficient and the fuse will blow up, as I have already demonstrated in the episode before. Right. Then we come to the tip number 9, and that is craft the biomass early. Basically what I'm trying to say, biomass and biofuel are way more efficient. Sure, you can run your biomass burners on leaves, but these get consumed very quickly. For example, let me see if I could illustrate and demonstrate this for you. Yes. Okay, let's just make some biomass quickly. Alright, that's about enough. So, let's say that instead of biofuel, I want to switch this source to the biomass. Now, if you observe, when it comes to consumption, the biomass is much faster consumed than the biofuel. It goes much faster than the biofuel. And the leaves, compared to it, go super fast. So if you now just observe, this is the rate at which biomass is consumed. Okay. And this is the rate at which leaves are consumed with this level of stuff connected to it. Now look at that. Whoa! So you basically stick the biomass, and it's still the same amount roughly, so I think it's way more fuel efficient. And if you decide to chug in the biofuel, look at that. That gives you a lot of autonomy, and that's definitely something to be considering. Alright, enough with the biomass fascination. Now we go to the tip number 10. And just to illustrate basically what I'm trying to say, do consider stacking. When you're building, you can actually build these storage containers like that. Look. And currently it's encroaching others' clearance because this bloody... yeah. Because this guy is in the way. So, if you want to build a storage container, let's try this again. There you go. You can stack things. And not only that it saves on the storage space, but it helps you group the items that are very helpful and much needed for your production. Oh, and did I say that I really love conveyor belts? Yeah, those are just splendid. Let's hitch a ride on one of those, shall we? There we go. Alright, that brings us to two also quite interesting facts that you will find cool and helpful when playing Satisfactory. Now, fact number 1 is actually specially used if you want to marvel at your own design or stupidity or whatever. Pressing the P will open a photo mode. You can actually choose to zoom in, zoom out, and take all kinds of wonderful screenshots for the beautiful bragging rights towards the community and Reddit, and we all know how we love those, right? Good. Also, I will post in the location at where you can find these aforementioned screenshots in your user folder. I will also post it in the description below. You should see it on screen somewhere about now. Perfect. Talking about the final nail in the coffin, and that's a feature that I really love, and great job for devs for doing that, is that your sessions, your saves are organized into sessions. So this is one Let's Play, this is a second Let's Play, and this is the third Let's Play. So you can have multiple sessions and different saves. I just love the organization of it. Like you have to organize stuff, like-minded stuff is also, yeah, organized. So those were 10 helpful tips, hopefully, for the beginning of playing of Satisfactory, and also 2 useful facts. I hope you like everything. If you do, do throw it a like. Hit subscribe for more Satisfactory content that will be coming for sure. I've been GrunfWorks. Thank you very much for watching. This is GrunfWorks signing off.